Welcome to this episode of Calls and Actions, trade with a higher probability of success. We're going to look at some progress and reviews on some already triggered alerts from the STS pivot system charting package brought to you by swingtradersetups.com. Each video will be looking at some charts that had the trigger prices right on the charts. Could have been day trades, some of them will be swing trades many days into the progress. Others may be ready to reverse or re-entry into the trend that's already prevailing. This video has been brought to you by Swing Trader Setups STS Pivot System Charting Package, where we offer a 7-day free trial offer, 10-day money-back guarantee. We have your trigger prices right on the chart before they trigger. Sometimes, depending on the factor you're using, if you're looking at this for swing trading versus day trading, you may get this alert on the chart 10 minutes before the trigger or an hour and 10 minutes before the trigger. If it's a swing trade setup, it may be 3 days away. You have plenty of time to study the chart, look at the support, resistance, other inflection areas, look at option setups and so forth, and plan your trade. You're going to be looking at a lot of charts that came off our STS Pivot System charting package. It's a 7-day trial offer, money back guarantee. Trigger prices right on the charts, day traders, swing traders, and option traders. Easy to follow charts. We got the scanners pre-built. All you have to do is load in your symbols. We teach you how to do that. We teach you what to expect the chart to do as it comes down through the lines, and then revisit and trigger the sell. And the price is right on the chart. Trigger prices on your charts, pre-built scanner, 7-day money back guarantee. These are a few charts today that triggered off pretty early this morning and throughout the morning after that market had that little run up. Here's a buy deal alert off our 25 factor chart. 221.34 was the trigger price at 9:44 a.m. This was on April the 2nd. You can go back and look any of these up. And we put the price on the chart. It says 2x, 1x trigger price as these lines right here came up to the bottom here as it came down. It gave the 2x short watch. It bounced around a little bit, gave another 2x, 1x. That was at least 50 cent, or excuse me, it's 25 factor, 25 cent before the trigger on that second alert. The first alert was well before that. This was several minutes past, and it triggered here at 221.34, went all the way down to about 218.50. Then it gave a great bounce. This is our second setup we teach. It's when they go back up here, they don't get too far out. This was intolerance. We give the trigger price right on the chart. The trigger price is right on the chart. This box is always present, and what it's mainly used for is when you're trying to time an entry, you want the next factor level down or up. It gives you that, but what we really have it there for is the red zone retracement. This is the red zone we're in, and when it goes back up and retraces, it's the trigger price for the re-entry alert back to the downside. Next chart we have here is Goldman Sachs. One of the guys in the room actually picked up on this pretty early and caught this setting up. We get out above it and we're chopping around. We're looking for our trigger price to go up, and we don't want to take it early. Well, as it chopped around, it was giving the trigger price on the chart, and then he took it here, went about $1, $1.50, and then started chopping around and came back and did a revisit. And on the re-trigger, right here, green zone retracement, we're in a green zone. It went again for another $1.50, and when it came back here, he alerted again. It pulled back to the green zone again, and I got him in the room. I said, this is going to be a short here. I can tell the way it's starting to shape up here. Watch it for a short. So a few minutes, it goes down, starts giving it on the chart, pre-price right here, saying 2x and 1x, what the sell price would be, the trigger price to go to the red zone. 251.26. It gave a nice little push down. I picked up on it, went in and asked him, I said, you getting that trade? And he said, yeah, I took it at 17 cents. So he waited on the trigger, came in at 17, gave us one little bounce here. Stock sold off way below what I have on this chart here, $248. Great call by one of the chart package users that was attending the chat room and trade room at that time. This is NSC. This was running up early and chopping, or excuse me, this was the day before. This was Tuesday, last Thursday. This was the morning, moving around here. Went out and gave the trigger on the chart and bounced, and we teach the retracement. So when it retraced, and we try not to trace super early, and this was very early, it moved around in here. We picked back up on this trade right in here, back to on the trigger price originally, and that is, as you can see, from 135.82, it actually triggered at 9:30. So that was immediately where it triggered and continued to bounce, but it ended up giving a trade all the way down to 132.50 and below. This was a PM. This was a little bit later into the morning. I was looking for some stocks that hadn't already sold off heavy, so I went and looked for something that had already triggered or was about to trigger, and this one was just about to trigger. It had the short watch on the chart over here on this box at 99.09. It was a little bit deep in for me. The market was actually chopping around. I said, let's wait on this, see if we can get a retracement. And I went over to a 10 factor chart, and as this retraced up and took the 10 factor back down, called it in the room to short this a little above this right here, and ended up being a really nice sell off well below this area as well. This was at 9:39 a.m. when this original trigger, and see, this was back over here after 11:36 when it came back down, and the market had already gone into a big sellage and was doing a little bounce, and that's when I started looking for a stock I hadn't went too far yet. So that's how you can trade that retracement, and that's what I did on that. This was NVIDIA in the afternoon. It had already done lots of moving around, and when you're using this factor on this chart, this is just a scalping machine, and you don't want to swing trade or make a bigger trade entry. You want a bigger factor, but this was late in the afternoon. Went to sell off with the market before 1 o'clock. It got to chopping in here, so I kept watching it, lined it up with some other things, gave a great run down. Then it gave the retracement. When it does the retracement, right on the chart is the price to retake the trade. So it gave another $2 run down at that time. One thing to notice, this is one of the things we teach. This is just my little power band indicator I use on my daily and weekly charts. I just kind of put this on here as a guide. We love to catch this crossover and catch this change in directions at the same time. It'll have two blue ones over here at the same exact time, and I really love that setup when those trigger together. So that's just there as a tool. But this little indicator here comes on the chart when it's giving a signal for the down. When this starts to show up in the box over here, the 2x and the 1x, that's what this is present. But when it's giving this bounce and it never shows up, you're in such a strong downtrend. This is a super high probability reversal here, and when it's so strong in the downtrend that even when it goes back and touches the red zone area, if it doesn't have a box on the chart saying 2x or 1x, long watch is a higher probability that it's going to reverse, and that's exactly what you had right here. There was no signal on the chart that would be showing this little yellow or green and yellow triangles down here. It only appear when it's got the 2x, 1x on the box over here for the reversal, and it didn't have that, so that made that even a stronger trade on its own. Last one we're going to look at before we get in over to look at some of the actual charts in the pivot system charting system was UNH chopping sideways here for quite a bit of time on the 25. The market was real sideways there for a while, and it finally triggered at 11:05, 221. It triggered, gave a little tiny bounce. This is a 25 factor, so well within tolerance. Probably only a quarter bounce here, maybe 50 cents, definitely less than 50 cents. Comes back in about 11:30, and this goes into a long sell-off here from this 221 signal all the way down. Really doesn't even give good retracements till here. It gets all the way down here in the 217 range. It gives a retracement. It does have a trigger on it. After this, as it starts back down, it starts to come in and say, okay, if we keep retesting, we may go back to a long watch. Never did trigger, never even showed a 1x trade, but sometimes they will come on there and show the 2x. You still just honor, if you don't get out over the line, you can still honor the trade and go right back in it. That's the price that's right here, red zone retracement. So here it gave a tiny little move down. You don't have to get out, but if you did, you can come back in. I get out sometime to re-enter. And then as it came on down here, right here is when both of the blue ones showed up and it started picking up real momentum and continued on down. We're about to look at some charts right on the actual trading package next. We're going to look at some more charts, seeing how they're overlaid on the shorter time frame charts, 5 minute. Look at the daily support that may be in play on some of these charts as well. This is an inside look at the STS pivot system charting package for day traders, swing traders, and options traders. Easy to follow charts, scanners pre-built. Watch the trigger prices evolve right on the chart before your eyes. This is a subscription model charting package, $69 per month. You sign up, get a 7-day free trial offer if you don't want to keep the package. If you don't want to continue use of the product, you let us know. We refund your money for 10 days from the day you sign up. 10-day money back guarantee. And we continue to extend this offer to anyone who ever paid a penny to daytradersetups.com since inception. If you came over to our chat room and you no longer a member there, we'll waive the $69 fee. You let me know you want to try this out. No $69 from you. You get the 7-day free trial offer. If you want to continue use of the product, you pay to have it set up. And then you still do not pay the $69 monthly fee for 21 more days. So you got a full 28-day free access to the website, free trial on the package, and then even after you upgrade, you got 21 more days for free. Let's look at some more charts. First chart we're going to look at here is Caterpillar. This actually triggered. If you'll watch this box down here, you see where this is red. When it goes from green to red, it's when it triggers. That's when the color of the line changes. It actually triggered at the open at 9:30. The time's right up in the top area, right up in here. So it triggered right off the break or the open this morning. Not going to take anything that early. So by 9:31, it's down to here. By 9:33, 35 is coming back up. So watching this on the retracement, I like this retracement alert. It's 15 minutes in. The market's already done the little bounce it was doing. That's about where the market rolled over on the AD lines. It was just before 10 o'clock. So this tied in with the AD lines rolling over. Right on the chart right here, RZR, red zone retracement. It gave the number to the penny to re-enter this trade. Also, the exact number of the original trigger, which is right here, was posted on the chart, and it was posted at 147.38, which was actually pretty tall. So we were still below that number when we come back down here. So this ended up being a very, very big trade, about a $6 move by 12:30. Now when it bounced, it went a little higher than my tolerance level, and as it started back down, it didn't give the box. There's the little yellow. Open this up a little bit for you. There's a little yellow line that appeared. It didn't appear at the peak saying over here 2x long watch. It appeared on the way back down. So that makes me not want to get involved, even though it did continue to come down. If I'm falling and I got a 2x coming up on my chart, it's telling me a 50-cent bounce sends this long. then I don't want to get involved. So I never bothered this again. And you can see as it got in this area, all the way across here, it continued to have a 2x. Well, the way it can do that is it's recalculating what's going to take this green zone. So as it gets lower and lower in price, right here it said 2x. That's two factors. Factor's 25. So right here, 50 cent was going to take it long. All the way down here, 50 cent was going to take it long. It still had the yellow. So from way down here, a 50 cent bounce is going to take it long, which would have been $1 sooner. So the algo adjusts this at all times if it needs adjusted. Even right here, it was saying one level up is going to take it green zone. Well, that would have been right back to the line. That can happen sometime. And it did happen right here. It came up one algo, turned it green, and it's below it. I don't like to turn green when I'm below it. So it ran up, it pulled back. This is what I like. I like to be up over the red zone, get the retracement, and then get the 1x. Got a nice little pop here, about $1 there. That was about 20 to 4. This could be set up for tomorrow. If the market actually tries to go up, this stock's already turning. This is a very low algo factor. If this was on a 50, I would especially be interested in a pullback and then a bounce to go up. But it's on a 25. We're fixing to look at some 50s. Over here, this other chart is tied in with this chart. This is the same line that you've got drawn right here on this 5-minute chart. So when it opened, it gapped down way down here. So this was all a gap down to here. Ran back up to that line that was right here, which happened to be yesterday's close. If you can line our alerts up with inflection points, it's even stronger trade. We're bouncing into yesterday's close. That's what that yellow line is. So we're rejecting yesterday's close at the same time we've got a retracement set up. That's an awesome setup when you put all that together. You get this breakdown. This was yesterday's low right on the chart here. This is just a 5-minute chart. We take out yesterday's low, and these are all pre-built in our charting system. Take out yesterday's low and you get this big nice sell-off. Now your first bounce, this is a little 10 that I have on here for helping time entries. The little 10 factor, we use it for stops too. It's overlaid, don't go back that far, but it stays on the chart when it's current bars. When it did do this breakout, this is the same number right here, 142.94. It's the same exact red and green line posted on the chart, just alike. They're twins. It's just overlaid on a 5-minute chart. You can change the time frame of these charts. Take it out to 10 minutes. This red and green line never changes. The algo stays with it. But if you're looking for a support area, you got something selling real hard, this is not the chart for that, because this is just yesterday's low, open, close, yesterday's high, and today's low. So if you want to find a support resistance, you'll go down to this chart. This chart's on 15-minute old lows and old highs that go back a long way. You can change this to any time frame you need to. You're selling off, you can't find where you're selling into, you can switch it over to 60-minute. You can change it back to 15-minute. You can take it out on a daily. It'll draw lines. So if you got something selling really, really hard and fast, you can't figure out where it's going to stop at, you can find out real quick. Old support and resistance lines anyway. Now we're going to look at some 50 factors. This is just a list of my profit tracking off the stocks. Some of them will be days ago, some of them will be today. We'll just pull up a couple of those and give you a look at this is calculated off where this line is drawn. Most of the time this is accurate. It's a report my programmer created for us. This was a short setup on a 50. Well, let me get on. This was actually on a 25 factor chart. I'm going to get on a 50 so I can show this to you. It's going to coincide with this. This shorted way up here on a 25 way back on the 27th, and it sold off about $3. This is a lower ATR stock. I got to get this chart over to a 50 series. Okay, now we're over on our 50 algo. This chart actually went short back on the 9th, I think that is. Hold on, I'll make it show us the date. You can set this up with our charting system to draw that line. Whatever's in the 2x box, as soon as it triggers, plots right on the chart, and it stays there until it changes directions. And we can also set it to show the date and the time as well, and that's what I just did. This as the box appears over here, when these little lines come up and it says a short watch 2x 1x, as soon as that number triggers, it plots it on the chart and it stays there until this changes directions. If it's a month, a week, or 3 months, it'll stay there. So until this turns back green, this will stay on this chart. So it was a short 79.95, 2:22 in the afternoon on March the 8th is when this triggered short. So it's been selling the entire month of March. Gave one nice retracement here. Did not show any little 2x down here. Remember we talked about that. We didn't have the yellow or green. So since we didn't have it, they made this a stronger suspect to continue down. It still continued down. That was around $72. Now it's down to $67. I like to catch these retracements in the early part, where to come down and go back up here and then set up for a longer term rundown. But you can see how far this stock has gone since it triggered. Even if you took it to here and got out, you're still talking about a $9 move on this stock. That's how you use this for swing trading. You can't use this same factor on NVIDIA because it might have crossed that 3 times today. You got to take it out a level or two. Depends on the stock to what the ATR is, how you want to line this up. I'm just going right down the list. I sorted them by profit. So I don't know what days these came off on. This was IONS. It's actually started down earlier, and it got in this chop here for 5 or 6 days. It re-alerted to the downside. 50.68 on the open at 9:30 a.m. on the 23rd. That was up here at $50.68. You're down here at $42 now, $8.55 since the trigger. Here's Aetna. This is going to be shorter term. This actually triggered back on the 14th day of March. 176.24 for the short. Didn't give a full retracement to here. That was about a $3 retracement. We teach that retracements are going to be around 4 to 5, sometimes 6 factors on a retracement. Well, this came from 168.24 all the way up to 170.74. That's $2.50, 50-cent factors. That's 5 factors, a 5-factor retracement. Notice it didn't give the yellow box at the time. Stronger for a reversal. Now it's giving a yellow box and going into this chop zone. This stock's either going to base out sideways and head down lower, or it's finally going to be reached a point of reversing. You can take, as you're studying these charts, you can have all kind of different charts. You can go over here and get on the daily and see what's going on with this stock. At the same time, you're looking at your stocks. Got a long way to go on the daily, don't it, to go down a lot lower in this bend. You can do a weekly chart, see if it's running into weekly support. It hasn't done a good fib yet. Coming into the 50 week. That blue line is a 50 week line. This is still a 5-minute chart over here on it, and with all this chopping around today. And this is a much shorter breakdown over here today. This is not the 50. This was the movement off this 25 factor earlier today. 168.06 is where that trigger right there was. The chart, if it's not in view, doesn't put the stuff on there. You just hit F5 to bring the script back in. NUE, we're going to try to move along, get you a bunch of them here in about 5 minutes and wind this video down. Got a short on NUV 67.75, 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the 13th day of March. Still selling. Now, I don't want to get right here. I don't get back in. This is where I start watching for reversals. You see right here? Here's your box. It's triggered up here. This little yellow dotted line is true down here. As long as this is true, then this is going to show. If this went straight from right here to 61.25, it's going to turn this line green. Then you'd want to check your other support and resistance areas to make sure you're not running into resistance as soon as that triggers. 61.25 is a current trigger for that to go long. If it goes from here right now, if it continues down some more, it'll adjust this number as it continues down. If it goes up from right here, 25 cents tomorrow, it'll change this number. The green box will come up. It'll be green and yellow, and it'll say 1X trigger, and it'll still have the same price on it. It'll be a 1X then. You'll know it's one factor away. As soon as that triggers, it draws a line. When it turns it green, posts the price right on the chart. ALK. This is a good example. One took days to trigger. I mentioned earlier that it may take several days. Right here, I can get my little going for you here. Here we go. Right here, this first yellow down. So right in this spot, it gave a 2X alert. I mean, another dollar down is going to turn this red. It bounced. This was on, I'm looking at the date in this box down here. This was on the 14th day of March. It bounced, it went away, the 2X box disappeared, came back down, 2X box reappeared on the 19th, 5 days later. Now, some of that probably was a weekend. It actually triggered on the 19th late in the day. 64.80 was the trigger price, and it headed on down from there. Still falling, hadn't even done a good retracement. This is ALK. That's swing trading with our STS pivot system. DGX, March 20th, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, $104 short trigger on the 14th. Still selling. Did give a little retracement here. It did not give the box on the chart. SWKS. This was 3 or 4 days ago. It already had been in a long short and gave a reshort right here. I always like to be careful and coordinate this with some other things when I get the reshort. This is called a trend shift pivot zone. I want it coming down and turning, going back up. Then this pretty much serves as a trend line, and you've turned. And then you got the retracement rerun. 4 alerts, 4 setups. One's a long alert. You can see this didn't go very far on its long alert. It triggered right about here. Went up about 50 cents, pulled back. You could have got out in today. It didn't come down hard the next day. You could have kept your loss to a minimum right here. They're not always 100%. Obviously, you got market conditions coming in here as well. You can step out to another level. We may be on not a good level for this particular stock. It may have a lot of ATR. I like to compare the levels. I like to look at the 100 compared to the 50 when this is going on. CLVS, this is just a re-entry. As far as I'm concerned, this never happened. This is your trade back up here. This is just choppiness. Now, this probably went too high for me to be excited about taking this short right here. I might have got convinced, but you can see how choppy this is all the way down. I want the first trade. I want the trend shift. This is the trend shift. The rise up here where it shifted over it. You can draw a trend line and it broke the trend line. You can't really do that right here. And you can't do it for the short side either. It's not breaking a trend line, it's continuing a trend. So that's not really, it's just continuation out of a bunch of chop. Now you make it break this back down on a 25, and you still don't have one here. It's got a bunch of chop. That was actually today, it coming out of yesterday's or Thursday's chop sideways. NC, big sell-off. I really don't prefer to get my alert when I'm above the bar, even though it worked fine. I prefer to be under the bar, get the number. Sometimes you get a stock that has a lot of volatility, and that may be true on this stock. I'd rather step out to the next level. This is the next level, taken out to 100 algo. This thing triggered short on the 19th at 88.23. It's just gone through a lot of chopping with the market since then. So this was much later, way later. This is an uptrend and chop in a bigger picture downtrend. That's what all this was. So I always like to go out and find my bigger picture. Now if you want to get a bounce, it's going to show up on this 50 first. The 50 is the one I generally trade for bigger setups, and then 25 is my day trade entry. ACIA, here's you another one, been going since the 19th, gave the alert at 42.67, gave that retracement, did show that it could possibly cross over. It did predict 1x or 2x in the prediction, but it didn't take out the line. It pretty much stayed there. If they get way out up here, I'm not interested. This is no problem right here at all. It's almost equal in the line there. They went to 43.17, the line's 43.15. You can see both right here in this box. That's the red line. That's the algo factor, and when it got right there, they were right there together, just a couple of cents, so that's no problem at all. And that's the trade where you go to the box right here and it gives you the trigger price back down, which is always a minimum of 2 factors. So there's at least $1 pull off of that before we even trigger it back to the short side. That's about all I'm going to show you here. I'm going to keep this video around 30 minutes. But there's just plenty of them here. Of course, the market's been going in a downtrend. But I just wanted to show some charts where you can see how you can actually swing trade these. This was VMW 2 days ago on the 20th. Missing some information, excuse me. No, I'm not. I just couldn't realize that was a day break right there. We had those 3-day holiday. Like I was missing a day of data. Triggered on 27th was last Wednesday. Kept selling on Thursday. Revisited this morning at the open on that little run up. Was a nice reshort. Went a little far. You could get on a smaller time frame and work your way in that trade this morning up in this area. It actually had on the chart what the price was at the time it crossed down. Would have been right in that 121 area for a $2 move, and then went back in this chop, and now it's turned back up on the short term. I got a feeling the market just turns back down. Got one last day trade here for you. This was AMP on the open this morning at 10 o'clock. Triggered a short at 146.68. That's a $6 move at the bottom down there. It's done a retracement. You come into this retracement right here. You first trigger down 141.67. There's your watch for tomorrow. 141.67. If this goes up 50 more cents, it'll be 50 cents higher than that. This will head back down. Watch this stock in the morning. AMP. There's your pick. This morning you can see it started out, got below the open and the close, took out yesterday's low, and down she went. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. Go over and check out what we're doing. DayTraderSetups.com, SwingTraderSetups.com. This video is being brought to you by STS Pivot System Charting Package for day traders, swing traders, and option traders. Easy to follow charts and scanners, trigger prices right on the charts, on the setups. We teach 2 trades long and 2 trades short. That's all. It's that simple. Just like you see on this chart, the trigger price for this trade was in the corner over here from this point on, with this price posted, not to take it up here, and it did not trigger, but it wasn't posted as a trigger anyway. Came back. This is a classic, beautiful setup. Breaks right here. 167.26 was our trigger price. And we developed these same lines where you can overlay them on your shorter term charts. This is a 2-minute. By not taking that trade early, when it went up here to 167.11, you avoided this 30-something minute pause here. It's not quite 30, about 15 minutes. This was a 60-something cent pullback by waiting on our trigger price to get in the trade here. And we were predicting that trigger price. This didn't go green until this happened. You have that up arrow where we're showing the price to go long at, and as soon as it triggers, it immediately gives a go short because it's so close to flipping back over. So that's exactly where it occurred, was right here. And that is how simple that package is to use. Trigger prices right on your charts. Got a 7-day free trial offer, 10-day money back guarantee. Once you get this set up, it's $69 a month. And we're extending as a courtesy, if you take this package, full access to the website, including the trade room if you want to come in and out of there as well. It's not part of the charting package, but it's an offer we're letting you come in if you want to. And I mentioned this in a video about a week ago that we were going to do this. Any previous member to Day Trader Setups from day one ever paid $1 to us, this $69 fee is waived. You can come in and try the 7-day trial, no outlay of cash whatsoever. If you decide you want to go with this package, then you can sign up.